So Depakote is actually a drug, anti-seizure drug for people with epilepsy. And it's actually a black label drug for people who have dementia and are elderly. So black label meaning it can kill you. It's not appropriate for someone with those, acuities. So I was like, I need to get this, because this is what happened to my mom, by the way. This is why she's in a wheelchair. Going to the doctor one day, they took her to the doctor for a checkup and she got agitated. They put her into, a hold, like a mental hold for 72 hours and put her on Depakote and never took her off. So when she went back to the facility, she no longer could walk. She no longer was continent. She was like a zombie. And I thought that her Alzheimer's had progressed, but no, it was Depakote. Her doctor told me 3 months later, her regular GP said, your mom is on this drug called Depakote. This is blah, 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 what I just explained to you. Do you want me to take her off of it? And I said, yeah, I didn't even know she was on it. I thought she was dying.
Why were you not? Because you likely would have been her caregiver or her power of attorney, whatever the word is. So how were you not involved in those discussions?
That's a good question. Because it happens a lot. These
Who
things
would have
happen.
been involved in those discussions?
It would have been when she was admitted, I didn't even know. It took them a day to find me, to let me know that she was admitted into this psychiatric hold. And without even looking at her records to say, oh, this woman has Alzheimer's. She's probably having agitation. She's not a psychiatric patient. So what happened was when she was released back to her facility, this was a different facility, a memory care. They probably thought, oh, this is easier. Let's just keep her on Depakote. And so nobody told me. So I had Rick Montcastle come in as a guest on my podcast. And Rick, they won. It was his biggest case. The judgment was a $1.5 billion judgment against Abbott Labs. And Abbott Labs is still in business, if that tells you, A, how much money they make, and B, how strong the pharmaceutical lobby is, okay? So he also, off the air, he said, I was telling him what was going on with my mom, and he said, I had federally prosecuted nursing homes for 2 decades. And he said, what you're going through with your mom is not unique to you. It is a systemic crisis. Because even though I prosecuted these nursing homes, there is no change. It's been like this for decades. Nothing happens because they get a slap on the hand and that's it. Rick Montcastle was retiring this was in 2022. And he said, he knew I was a filmmaker. And he said, if you think about doing a documentary on this, I will throw my hat in the ring. And I was like, okay, this is meant to be. I have to do a documentary on this because I was seeing things that I could not unsee. And everything that happened to my mom, which was way too much for 6 months, was emblematic of what goes on behind these closed doors. And that most people in the collective don't know because we have compartmentalized old. We put it away nice and neat. And we are grateful that there's places to, that will take care of them. But in fact, they're not. In fact, the system's been gamed. And in fact, there's corporate, interest in these facilities, and they make billions of dollars off of people that are not looked at as people.
No matter where you're watching the Dementia Collective from, if you get anything from this at all, anything, please like, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, head to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and leave us a 5-star review.